Okay, Shreya. So let me just make sure there are no students in the waiting room, and then you can get started. I'll give a brief introduction and then.
Okay, yeah.
There you go. Okay. So what we have for this morning is Shreya Srikanth. So before I get into my session, I've asked Shreya to give a session on the graphing calculator. What she has done is basically come up with her own kind of set of, let's say, a lesson plan. What I would ask is, as she is going through the graphing calculator, you're not watching. You also have a graphing calculator by your side, and you're kind of doing the session with her. So please make sure you have a graphing calculator. If you need a minute to set it up, please do it right now. And then I will ask Shreya to start off with the session. She has kind of come up with 6 or 7 problems. So this way you can see, okay, what problem she's come up with, and work as she is doing. Also, please make sure you have your first name, last name, and the grade. So make sure you identify yourself correctly. I still see like, I think it's Chetan Buchi, Dia Patel, Ashish, and please make sure you identify your first name, last name, and grade. Okay. If there are no further questions, what I will do is I'll turn the microphone to Shreya. And Shreya, please go ahead and start.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone see my setup, like my calculator?
So let's see if they can raise their hands. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you how to graph equations and inequalities using your graphing calculator. And the model that I have is the TI-84 plus CE, so that's what I'm going to be using. And so to graph an equation, there's a button right here called y equals. So when you click on that, you can see that there's a bunch of different spaces where you can type in different equations. And that's where you're going to be typing everything that you're going to graph. So as an example, we'll graph y equals x. So to get the x variable, you're going to need to click this button. It says x, t, theta, n. So when you click that, you'll get the variable x, which shows up right here. And then you can graph this equation using this graph button. When you click it, it will take you to the screen, and it shows your line y equals x on the graph. And some additional tools that are helpful are these two buttons right here. This one says zoom and this one says trace. So the zoom button, what it does, when you click it, there's a menu of different options. You can zoom in and zoom out, and then the other one that I use is zoom standard, which takes you back to the original graph scale. So if we wanted to zoom in on the graph y equals x, we would move down to zoom in and then press enter. And then you can move the cursor that shows up here anywhere on the graph to zoom in on that specific area. So for now, we're going to zoom in on the origin. So you press enter and it zooms in. As you can see, previously there was 10, it was a scale of 10, but now it's on a scale of 3. So to zoom back to the normal scale, you go down 6 to zoom standard, and you press enter, and it takes you back to the normal scale. Another useful tool is the trace button, which you can get by clicking trace, and a cursor shows up, and you can just move on your line, and it tells you the specific x and y values at each point. And then you can find the y value at a specific x value by just typing in any x value. So if I wanted to find out what y equals when x equals 5, I type in 5, and it tells me that when x equals 5, y equals 5. So that's how you graph an equation on the graphing calculator. And now we can do some problems. So just follow along with me as I graph them. So for the first one, Okay, so graph y equals 3x plus 2 and use trace to find out what the value is at x equals 9. So we go to y equals, and then we can clear out the previous equation, and then we type in 3x plus 2. And then we can click graph to graph it. And this is what your line should look like on your calculator. And then if you wanted to find out what y equals at x equals 9, use the trace button and type in 9 and then enter. And it should tell you that when x equals 9, y equals 29. So did everyone get that?
Any questions at this stage? Okay. Then Shreya, proceed. I do need to emphasize that there are still some students who haven't written the name the proper way. So it's first name, last name, and the grade. And if I don't see you doing it the way, then I will have to put you in the waiting room. So please do it right away. And Shreya, can you state what calculator you're using?
Yeah, I'm using the TI-84 plus CE.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I'm getting an invalid dimension error for some reason if I try to graph now, because there was already something graphed on my graph, so I don't know. So I tried clearing my L1 and L2 list because I'd graphed like I forgot what you called them, but like a regression diagram or whatever.
Vian, I think what's wrong is the scaling on your graph. So what we can do is we can't do it right now in the session, but after the class, I can ask Shreya to kind of help you.
Okay.
Okay. It's the scaling.
Okay. I'll go into number 2. So graph y equals negative 6x minus 7. So to graph that, we go to y equals, and then we clear out the previous equation. And now when you're graphing this equation, make sure that you use this negative sign for the negative 6x instead of the minus sign, because if you use the minus sign, you're probably going to get an error. So you use this negative 6x, and now you use the minus sign here because you're actually subtracting something. So minus 7, and you graph that. And that's what your graph should look like on your calculator. Is everyone else getting the same thing?
You can raise your hands if.
Okay, yeah, okay, good. For number 3, we're going to graph y equals 20, and we're going to zoom out because you probably can't see the line. So to do this, we go to y equals, and since it's just a constant line, we just type in the number, and then we graph it. And as you can see, there's no line coming up because the scale is too small. It doesn't go all the way up to 20. So what you can do is you can zoom, and then you'd have to zoom out, which is the third option down. And then you'd press enter, and then we'll zoom out at the origin. So press enter again, and you can see the line. But maybe this is like too zoomed out for you and you want to go to a specific scale. You can use the window button right here to change the minimum and maximum and like what scale, like how many units you want the lines to be apart for the X and Y axis. So that's just something else you can do. So is that what everyone got? Just raise your hand. Okay, good. And we're just going to zoom back to standard so we can continue graphing other equations. So for number 4, we're going to graph a parabola, y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. And I want you to try to find the zeros of the equation. So to do this, what we do is we do x squared minus 2x minus 8. And then we graph it. And this is what the parabola should look like on your graphing calculator. So to find the zeros, what we can do is we can use trace, but it won't give you the exact value of a parabola. It will give you like very close but decimals. So to find the actual zeros, you can use a tool that's located in your calculate menu. So to get there, you go to second trace, and there's you can see like a menu came up, and the second one down says 0. So if you click enter there, right here it asks for the left bound. So that's asking you to go anywhere to the left of the 0. It can be anywhere. Use your left and right arrows to move through the graph. So you go to the left of the 0 and you press enter. And now it asks you for right bound. So go anywhere to the right of the 0 and press enter. And now it says guess. So that when you press enter now, it's going to tell you what the 0 is. So just press enter. And it tells you that the 0 is at -2, 0. And then if we want to find the 0 of the other 0, we just repeat the same steps, but on the other 0. So we do second trace to get the calculate menu, and then we go to 0, and now we move all the way to the left of the second 0, which is right there, and we press enter. Now we move to the right of the 0, press enter, and now you just press enter again. And it tells you that the 0 is at 4, 0. So this is useful for like finding the solutions to simple parabolas like these. But once you get like more complex solutions, you have to, this is probably better using it to check your answers, because it's not going to give you the answer in terms of radicals. It's going to give it to you in terms of decimals. So usually they want the answer in terms of radicals, so it's better for like checking your answer. Okay, so for number 5, we're going to graph y equals 4x plus 6 and y equals 2x plus 4, and we're going to find the solution to the system of equations. So to do this, we go to y equals, and then we graph right in the equation 4x plus 6, and then on another line we write the other equation 2x plus 4, and then we graph that. So this is what your two graphs should look like, and the solution to this system of equations is going to be where the two lines intersect, so around there. And to find the solution, one way you could do it is by using trace, but then you can like only go somewhat like close to the center and try and guess the number. But there's another tool that will give you the exact solution, and to get that tool there's actually an app. So it's called Inequals, and that we're going to use it later when we graph inequalities, so we can just download it now. So to get it, you go to apps, and then there's a series of apps already downloaded on your calculator that are like really useful. So we're going to use the 7th app down, Inequals. So just press enter, and then it says to press any key, so just press any key. And that's how you get the app. So you go back to the graph, and then if you go back to the calculate menu that we went to before by getting second trace, you can see that another menu pops up called inequality. And the first thing in this menu is point of interest trace. So that's going to get the equation to the system of equations, the solution. So press enter, and it automatically goes to the solution, and it says that it's at -1, 2. So that's useful if you ever need like a quick way to find the solution to a system of equations.
So Shreya, let's take a pause here for let's say 30 seconds and make sure the other students have that app or they've downloaded it. If there are any questions, they can raise their hand now. I hope she's not going too fast for you. So if she's going fast, then please speak up.
So the app is called Inequals, and if there is another way to find the intersection, that probably works as well.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so now that's how you graph equations.
If someone said they don't have the 7 choices, I would we don't know what calculator you have, so you may want to check this option, the apps option with your calculator menu. Make sure you have it. So there's no way we can say from here there is apps menu or not, but if you have the intersect option, go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Shreya.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to graph inequalities. So we already got the app Inequals, which is what allows you to do inequalities. So we'll just clear this. So how you get the different inequality symbols, like greater than or less than, click the left arrow until this entire like box highlights, and then you press enter, and you should see like a pop-up right here. And then the second thing down, it says y equals. You can change that to like, and then using the left and right arrows, you'll see the different inequality symbols. So as an example, we'll graph y is less than x. So get the less than symbol, which is that. Press OK, and it shows the less than symbol right there. And then you just type in the equation as normal. So y is less than x. And then we can graph that. And it will show you the line, and then the region below the line y equals x is shaded, and the line is dotted because it's y equals x is not included in the solution. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on how to do this? Okay, I don't see any. Yeah?
How do we get the app? Like when we go to it, how do we press to confirm the app?
Okay, so do you go to apps, and then you use the down arrow to go to number 7, and then you press enter. And then, oh, sorry, I don't know if you saw that. And then I already got the app, so this is what it shows for me, but you can press any key. It just says press any key over here. So you can just press enter, and it will automatically like download all of the stuff for you.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. So we can do some practice inequalities so you can learn how to use it. So we'll do graph y is less than 3x plus 2. So to graph the inequality, you go here. We can clear that. And then since we already have the inequality symbol, we don't really need to change it. But we just write the equation 3x plus 2, and then we graph it. And this is what it should look like. It's shaded below the line y equals 3x plus 2, and the line itself, it should be dotted because it's not included in the solution. And then, did everyone get this? Okay, so yeah, I'll show how to get the inequality symbols when we do the next one. Graph y is greater than or equal to 5x minus 9. So we can clear out the previous equation. And then to get the inequality symbol, we click the left arrows and it highlights the entire section. And then we press enter. And then we go down and we have to use the left and right arrows to select the greater than or equal to symbol, which is this one. And then you go down and press OK. And it should show up as the greater than or equal to symbol there. And then we'll write 5x minus 9. So you graph that. And then this is what your graph should look like. It's shaded above the line y equals 5x minus 9, and the actual line is continuous because it is part of the solution. Did everyone get this? Just raise your hand. Okay, so I see hands going up. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to graph a solution, a system of inequalities. So graph y is less than 3/4 x minus 2, and y is less than or equal to negative 2x minus 1. So to graph this, what we do is we go here, we can clear out the previous equation, and we have to get the less than sign. So we go to the left until the entire box highlights. We press enter, we go down, and then we go to the less than sign. Okay, and then you type in 3/4 x minus 2. I just put it in parentheses because it's a fraction. And then on a separate line, we have to get the less than or equal to symbol. So we highlight the entire box. We go down, and then we get the less than or equal to symbol. Enter, and we type in negative 2x minus 1. And then we graph that. So this is what you should get on your calculator, and the solution to the system of inequalities is wherever these two graphs overlap, which is this like purple area right here. So did everyone get this? Does anyone have any questions or anything? Okay, so we can try a different system of inequalities question. So graph, we'll clear these. Okay, so graph y is less than or equal to 2x plus 4, and y is greater than 5x plus 3. So to do this, we'll change the inequality symbols again. So this one would be less than or equal to, which is that. And then we'd write 2x plus 4. And then here we change it to greater than. And then we do 5x plus 3. And then we graph that. So this is what it should show up like on your calculator, and where the two graphs overlap, this area right here is the solution to the system. Did everyone get that? Okay, so for the last problem, we'll just graph one more system of inequalities. So here, we don't really have to change that symbol because it's already there. Oh yeah, we're graphing y is less than or equal to x plus 3, and y is greater than or equal to negative 2x minus 2. So here we type in x plus 3, and then here we'll have to change the symbol to greater than or equal to, which is there. And then we type in negative 2x minus 2. And we graph that. And so this is what should show up on your calculator. This entire section would be the solution to the system of inequalities. Did everyone get that? Okay. And then just an additional thing, if you ever want to quit the app, you can go to y equals, and if you go all the way to the right, there's something that says quit app. If you go there, it will take you to this, and then you can press quit inequality graphing to quit it. But right now, I want to continue it, so I'm not going to quit it. So that's how you graph inequalities and equations on your graphing calculator.
Okay, so thank you, Shreya. Just before we leave this kind of topic, is there any question? I mean, I do emphasize all of you should be having a graphing calculator, and you've seen how powerful it can be. You don't have to solve, especially in section 4, when it comes to these problems on inequalities. Literally, it takes you less than 30 seconds to kind of plot it, and then you have the answer. And that is why SAT allows you to use a graphing calculator. So, so please make the most of it. If you don't have a calculator, Mr. Nair has sent the link. So I gave him the link, and it's for the College Board website. What I found is if you ask me, okay, which calculator you use, the Texas Instrument one are the most popular ones that students use, whether it's for SAT or AP Calc or in college. So that's kind of what I've seen students use. Also, a big thanks to Shreya. When I made the announcement last week, she contacted me literally within hours, and she said, "I'd like to do this and volunteer." So it's a volunteering opportunity. So she's going to get volunteer hours. But when I asked her, did you have a plan or something, she pretty much put a plan together by Sunday evening. And then by Monday night, she ran a kind of a trial session with me. So, so I strongly encourage you, when you get these volunteering opportunities, jump on it. And it looks good on your resume too, that, okay, you taught something to other children. So, so make the most out of it. Now, if there are any questions or anything, what I'll ask is you can stay on for 5 minutes after the session, because I know you have other classes, Chinmaya, and I can ask Shreya to stay on, but that's totally up to you if there are questions. Okay. Let me now get going with the session for today. So what I'm going to do is, because we had the graphing session, I'm going to switch to the test. So where I am is the SAT, and we were test 2 section 3. And the problems that were remaining were 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay.